Well, hello. Greetings, everyone. How are we doing? I'm trying to get my angle here. There we go. I like this angle a lot better. Oh, yeah. That is what I'm talking about. Greetings, everyone. Happy Monday to you all. I can't believe it is almost the end of September. We're going to have a good show for you today. Very good show. I think this is a great topic. Continuing on with the series that we have about women's beliefs about men, women's beliefs in general. I think we're going to have a really good topic today when it comes to this discussion. If you didn't see the description, I gave a little bit of a glimpse of what we're going to be talking about. I left the fragrance of the day as a blank because we are going to discuss the fragrance of the day, fragrance of the evening here in a second. But before I do that, I just wanted to go ahead and say hello. My dog Chance wants to say hello too for some reason. What's up, boy? Come here. We're not going to get all the way up here, though. I'm wearing a suit. But he's right here below me. He wants to say what's up to you guys. He wants some love for some reason. Huh, buddy? Great Monday so far. It's raining here in San Diego. It is raining here in San Diego. And actually, I absolutely love it when it rains because we don't get that much rain. But what a tremendously beautiful day. I woke up this morning, opened up my door, and it was drizzling a bit. My dog did not want to go outside. He always just runs right out the door. But he didn't want to go outside because it was raining. So he's been kind of stuck inside today, even though we went for a little bit of a walk. Went right to jiu-jitsu. Greg says, happy chest day. It is International Chest Day, even though I didn't do chest today. I went to jiu-jitsu and did quite a bit of sparring. And my instructor tested out some blue belts who are going to get promoted to purple belt, which should bring me some good news as well. Getting your Kevin Samuels on? Absolutely. Hey, man. Like I said, flattery is the best, or sorry, what is it? Mimicry is the best compliment. Hey, he's onto something. I also feel like in the direction that I'm trying to go in life, the direction I want to go in life, this is definitely the best way to go about representing. I like it. I think men need to start wearing more suits. I think men need to start representing themselves a little bit more, more masculine, right? Be proud of yourself, carry yourself in a specific way. I don't know if you guys, you guys saw all my shows before. I was wearing T-shirts and all sorts of other stuff. Like, come on, let's go. Let's be professionals now. Let's get moving. Jiu-jitsu was phenomenal today. Rolled with some higher belts. Kicked some butt. Did great. Felt great. I don't know who watched the fights this weekend. One's in the chat. If you watched UFC this weekend, let's get those ones in the chat. Let me know what you guys thought of the fights this weekend. Because that card that they had this weekend for UFC 266 was probably hands down one of the best cards I had ever seen. Even the prelims, the early prelims, there was maybe only two. There's two boring fights, I think, that I saw. Two boring fights. Fucking Curtis Blades, man. Come on. I actually know Curtis through some friends. I wouldn't say no, but we're connected through friends and training partners and stuff like that. I love rooting for the guy. I wish that he would just maybe that's a show I could do some other day. I wish I could help this guy out. He surrounds himself with women, and he's just way too nice of a guy. You got to be a killer, bro. Come on, represent yourself. But the fights were awesome. If you didn't watch the fights this weekend, you're missing out. The title fight between Volkanovski and Brian Ortega was one for the record book. I have to state this on air live as well. Excuse me. Prior to this fight, even though I had Volkanovski winning, I said I would not be surprised if there was an Ortega upset because Ortega is an extremely tricky dude, especially with his jiu-jitsu. But I had Volkanovski winning. And I have to say this as well. I didn't really respect Volkanovski as a fighter that much prior to this fight, mainly because his last fight with Max Holloway was, I know what he was doing. He was just kind of doing enough to win in the judges' scorecards and not get caught, because Max Holloway is a very intricate fighter as well. You never want to fight Max Holloway's fight. I still think Volkanovski won. I just don't think he won. So here's another thing that I say. When you're defending the belt, you don't really have to put on that much of a show. You just have to do enough to secure it, right? To just make sure that he doesn't beat you. But if you're the contender, you have to beat the champ to be the champ. Like, it has to be a definitive victory, right? So when he fought Max Holloway, I was like, Volkanovski's whatever. This fight, however, against Brian Ortega was a completely different Volkanovski that I ever saw. The dude was moving forward the entire time. His gas tank was insane. He was throwing tricky combos, doing all sorts of crazy stuff, just like really beating up on Ortega. Third round. This third round is probably one of the greatest rounds of UFC or in UFC history. Volkanovski was coming forward the whole time, pinning him up against, well, not pinning him up against the ring, or against the octagon, I guess we should say. But he was keeping him pretty close there, right? And I think at one point he threw a kick and Ortega caught it just briefly for him to like drop down. And all of a sudden Ortega just latches on with this fucking insane guillotine that was so fast. So a guillotine, he pretty much like, so Volkanovski drops down a level, right? He's like in a squat position. Ortega reaches up and around and brings his arm around the front to get him in this guillotine choke, right? And then wraps his legs around him super fast, getting him in a mount on his back. And it was so deep. It was so deep. I sat there in that second and I was like, this dude is going to lose the belt right now. He's going to tap. It was so deep. Like, both of his ears were like this. Like, Volkanovski's ears were like this. And you could see his face and he was just like, oh shit, I'm going to lose. And this dude squirms out of this insane guillotine choke that anyone else would have tapped to. Got out of it. He gets up, not mounts him, but he's in his guard and he's just raining some blows. And then Ortega throws him in this triangle that was so fucking tight. It was insane. And Volkanovski gets out of that too. And Ortega is just gassed at this point. There's like, Ortega threw the kitchen sink of all of the skills and everything that he had. And man, it was fucking nuts. It was such a good fight. Like, hats off to both fighters. If you guys didn't see it, you should check out some highlights or whatever, because it was probably one of the best fights I've seen in a long time. As you guys can tell, that's the only thing that's really the only thing that I'll watch or be a fanboy over. And I only watch like the bigger fights and stuff like that. So it was fucking awesome. Shevchenko, even though I shouldn't say hate, but I greatly dislike and despise female fighters. Shevchenko is something to watch, though. She's pretty wild, even though she's a feminist. She's definitely a feminist. How does it always get so damn bright? What's up with this? Yeah, let's bring those colors down. Oh, that's a little bit too low. I can go with that. Felt like I was like fluorescent there for a little while. Anyway, getting back to it. The moment you all have been waiting for, the fragrance, the fragrance, if you will, of the evening. As we all know, I live in San Diego, so we don't have much of a fall, but it is officially fall. Gentlemen, you are going to want to have something in your repertoire for fall season right now, and I have a phenomenal fragrance that you should check out if you want to stand apart from the pack. Yesterday on Twitter, I did a fall fragrance review, going from designer to boutique of what you gentlemen should have in your, what's it called? So if you guys aren't aware as well, on Twitter, they just opened up this new thing a couple months ago called Spaces. It's kind of one of those things that is competing with like Clubhouse, right? So it's a live show like what I'm doing right now, minus the video. It's just talking, but I can have as many people in there as I want to and all this other stuff. And I did a fall fragrance review. So like I said, if you guys aren't friends with me on Twitter, this is something I want to do more. I want to do some fragrance reviews. I'm going to do them over on Twitter, and then obviously bounce around and stuff like that. And I want you guys on Twitter too, because there's going to be a big announcement that I'm going to be dropping here pretty soon as well. And I want you guys to be privy to that. Of course, I'll let you know on here, but those on Twitter, and you're going to see the majority of what's going on with that certain product, program, new, whatever, more on Twitter. So add me on Twitter, God Amongst Men too. And that way there you guys can chime in as well, and we can start to talk fragrance. I did that fragrance show at 5 p.m. on Sunday, so I think that's something that I want to continue to do as well, is start talking fragrance a little bit more. Let's start talking style. If you guys have questions specifically about health and fitness and so forth, get on over there. But without further ado, and I hate doing this, but last week I got a wild hair up my booty, and I really wanted to go out and put my nose on some new stuff. Specifically, I went out looking for specific Killian phrases, right? K-I-L-I-N, Killian. I did a review, I believe, last week on Killian Black Phantom. I really wanted to go out and smell, I believe it was called Playing with the Devil. I wanted to smell Dark Lord, and I wanted to also smell Noir Aphrodisiac. Those three specifically were what I was like wanting to get the old schnoz on, because, you know, when I get interested in something, I gotta go for it. That's plain and simple how it is. Anyway, so I went to this boutique shop, and they're one of the few people that have Killian there. So I walk in, and of course they don't have any of the Killian fragrances that I want to smell. So I'm kind of upset. So I just start smelling some more Killian stuff, and I'm just like, not really excited. The lady behind the desk is like, all right, why don't you smell some Creed stuff? Got to be honest with you, Creed is a little bit too masculine, clean, fresh for me. That's not really my style, even though I did enjoy the new Viking. I put the new Viking fragrance on. Wasn't terrible, but it's also not something I'm about to drop $330 on. And then she reaches over and she's like, why don't you try this designer? Or, yeah, this designer. You can call it designer. And I'm going to be honest with you. So the designer was Maison Francis Kurkdjian, French guy, French designer, French. Yeah, we'll say designer just to keep the name there. And I smelled, we'll say MFK from here on, or Kurkdjian, MFK before, and this was a little while ago. Wasn't impressed because what I had done was I had gotten some sprayed on me, and which names specifically? They didn't have the ones that I wanted. Specifically the Playing with the Devil, Dark Lord, and Noir Aphrodisiac. They didn't have that. I'll get into Creed later on. Once I have more money to just throw away, I'll buy Creed. But I'm just saying, for how I am and the style that I'm into right now, it's just not cutting it for me, man. I'm not going to drop $330 on that stuff right now. But I got something else for you. I got something else for you guys that you're really going to like, especially moving into the fall. So here's the thing that I want you to know about this. So first and foremost, my favorite house, hands down right now, is Initio. All right? If you guys don't know that. Initio is my favorite house. Initio is like a branch of Parfums de Marly. I think it's a segue off of Parfums de Marly, or they just work in tandem. I don't remember. And the thing I love about Initio and Parfums de Marly, specifically Initio though, is how the fragrance evolves. When you first spray it on, you get some majestic smelling stuff where you're just like, oh, this is new. And then 3 minutes later during the dry down, you're like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. And then 30 minutes later, you smell it again, and it's like, wow, holy shit. I have to say this about MFK. MFK does the same exact thing, but I'm going to kick myself in the ass for saying this, but they do it better. but they do it better. Better in the sense of like, all right, so where I would rank Initio is for like probably guys more like me, for instance, right? I'm not like a super baller. I'm not like a fucking white. How can I explain it? I'm not like a blue-blooded like rich guy, right? I'm a above the cut. I'm above the normies, right? I'm a man of value, and I'm a little bit rough around the edges, and that's what Initio I think really hits for me. And besides, Initio really has some fucking awesome fragrances and a great, tremendous line of stuff. But I just got a smell of what I'm rocking right now. MFK is like, yeah, so it mixes well with your natural scent and it matures. MFK does the same exact thing, but it's just a bit more elegant. I always use this word elegant, but it's more like it is just more, it's like more high level. It's more like if you're moving into this status of like you're high class is what I'm saying. Like Initio's like you're in that high value man category, right? Where you're like, yeah, I'm fucking rocking it. I'm killing it. I'm a fucking solid dude, making good money, looking good, representing myself well. MFK is like the next level. And the way this stuff evolves on your skin is just sublime. I'm telling you, if you can go out right now and go and pick up some Maison Francis Kurkdjian stuff, put it on your skin. Specifically right now, what I would recommend to you is this, and I didn't want to use the word regal. I didn't want to use the word regal because it makes it sound like you're part of like a royal family. That's not the image I wanted to give you. I wanted to give you like just high tier, high class. That's really what it is. Anyway, I hate doing this. I hate showing samples. I think it's a tacky way to do business. But I also don't have the money to throw down on this shit. But I was just so taken back by MFK. There's three specific, actually technically four. There's three specific fragrances that I really want to share with you, but I'm only going to share one with you right now. This one is called Grand Soir. Grand Soir, right? And I'll show you the little bottle of it too. This stuff, I had to put it on to let it dry down beforehand. Is just, it's sublime. I'm telling you, when it comes to fall, it's got the warm notes. It has the creamy notes as well. It has spice to it. And it just finishes so fucking well that people will smell you and they will be like, who the fuck is this motherfucker? Like, straight up, they're going to be like, this dude is, even if you're rocking fucking workout clothes, right? And you're just walking around or whatever, and you smell like this, people are going to be like, huh, that's a dude, that's somebody that's trying to not be anybody right now. Like, I'm telling you. Anyway, let me read the notes. This is what it says on the actual card itself. Wander in the plenitude of never-ending night and enjoy the daring radiance and of a magnificent Parisian evening over and over again. Sweet lavender and vanilla scented heat, spiced up by a deep darkness of benzoin from Siam, tonka bean from Brazil, and cistus labdanum. There we go, labdanum from Spain. Cistus labdanum. There we go. Guys, I'm telling you. So the downfall with MFK, this is what I have to say, is they're pricey. They're pricey. For a 2.4 ounce, which is smaller than, so like people will get pissed off because I think I paid $4.25 for a 50 ml of fucking Fabulous from Tom Ford. This is smaller, so 2.4 ounces is smaller than the 50 ml. And for a fragrance this good, that you're going to wear and you're going to be like, yo, I want to, like, I don't fall in love. Like, I don't fall in love, right? You guys know this about me, like, especially with women, right? Like, but this would be like a woman where I'm like, oh, I'm keeping this. I'm still going to cheat on the bitch, but I'm going to fucking wear this shit quite a bit because it is just so good. Oh, I gotta spray this again. This shit is fucking so awesome. Oh, man. I know we're 20 minutes in and I'm just getting to the freaking fragrance today. Whatever. I got to let you guys know too. I got the Zoom up and running. We're going to do some Zoom calls today if you guys want to call in and discuss this topic. Oh, just so good. The booziness of it, though, like there's some booziness to it, right? So it's a little bit like a spiced rum. It's really low, and the vanilla, the tonka bean, really covers that up really nice. So you get the spice, but then right after you hit that spice, the vanilla comes over it and just smooths it over. Oh, the tonka bean in there is just magnificent. Oh, my, like... And this is a thing that people don't realize about fragrance. Like, you smell Axe, right? When you smell Axe, you just smell one thing. And it's just like, that's it. With this, I can move my hand around and it's just picking up different stuff. I'm telling you, MFK is the house. The greatest scent I've ever smelled. This is big for me to say too. Comes from the house of MFK. I'm not going to give that to you right now. I should dedicate a whole hour to just talking about this fragrance. It's something I really want to buy. Just really expensive. Going back to the 2.4 ounce as well. If you're going to get something like this, I'm telling you with MFK, you're going to fall in love. Like Phil said, you should always get samples. Go to maxaroma.com, buy samples of this stuff. Go buy a sample of Grand Soir right now if you can. I'm telling you, it is going to kill during the fall. It's going to kill during the fall. But go to Max Aroma and get that, check it out. Then decide later if you want to spend the money on it. But if I were you, I would buy there's a 7.2 ounce. It's pricey. It's in the 800s range, $800 range. But that's what I would buy. If I were to buy these fragrances from MFK, because I know I'm going to be wearing them a lot. I know I'm probably going to become a daily wearer of this. And if not, I still want the big bottle because I'm going to go through it pretty quickly. And I don't want to be spending $350 or $325 or even $425 on their 2.4 ounce. Anyway, let's get on to the topic of the evening, even though I just went through a whole bunch of shit. Let's take a guzzle of some agua. Oh, my God. There we go. All right. So, topic of the evening. Are modern women empathetic? And this is something that I've been wanting to discuss for quite some time. I discussed this a bit before. I did a topic on masculinity and empathy a little while back. And that was more coming from the standpoint of, it may seem weird, but I'm a pretty spiritual guy. I seem to have stumbled upon what I believe the direction should be when it comes to spirituality, right? And in that conversation, what I talked about and discussed was that women place their feminine understanding of the world and their feminine worldview and their ideological worldview onto men as to what their morals should be. And they also explain that as like how men should be spiritual. So women always talk about empathy and they always talk about emotional intelligence and all this other stuff, even though some would argue emotional intelligence is not a real thing. To which I argued in that episode, I said, that's all wrong. Masculine spirituality actually comes from understanding death, understanding violence, understanding aggression. That's really, truly where our spirituality comes in, is understanding the opposite side of that. No. I love everybody who comes in and answers the question directly. But we got to discuss this stuff. So the fact of the matter is this. Most women today, I did an experiment with this, right? For those of you guys that are unaware, I'm a bit of a online dating, let's not use the word guru, but I fucking kill it online dating. And I always ask women specific questions, and I can't say every single time because right? Not all women are like that, but 95% of women are. So one question that I would always ask women is, hey, what do you like most about yourself? That was one of my openers. What do you like most about yourself? And 95% of women would always answer my heart, how empathetic I am. That's pretty much it. That's 95% of women would always answer that. And, in watching a certain individual online, Mr. Kevin Samuels, preach, I appreciate you. He was also able to exploit publicly what women's default is always going to be when talking about what their value is in a relationship or who they are as a person. Women will always talk about how empathetic they are, because what they're really doing is they are promoting to you that they're just emotional. That's it. Women really do not understand the world from a view outside of themselves, which is funny because they use the term empathetic, which is supposed to mean that you can place yourself in the emotional state of another individual, or you can sympathize with the emotional state that person may feel due to a certain situation. This is where people get emotional intelligence confused. So the reality of empathy is this. It is not to actually feel the feeling and incorporate that same feeling in yourself as that person is going through it. I hope that makes sense, because that term is actually sympathy. That's the term people are looking for, is they're looking for the term sympathetic, not empathetic. I hope you understand this. So what would make someone actually empathetic is this. Before I commit to an action or a direction, I can sit here from a higher level of consciousness and I can understand what emotional spectrum people may go through due to my actions, due to my words, due to my representation, due to my direction that I take people. Does it make sense? Right? I can begin to empathize with how people would emote due to what I'm saying or acting or behaving or so forth. And then from there, I can make a choice as to what I can handle. Does it make sense? So for instance, I don't know if I should say this stuff on YouTube, even though I'm shadow banned, but I think a lot of people probably don't go out and just start beating people senselessly, because at some level, right, there's some level to it that's the law, where they're like, oh, I really don't want to go behind bars or anything like that. But I think most people don't say mean things to other people or hurt other people because they put themselves in the other person's shoes. They put themselves there and they say, man, if I were in this position, I really wouldn't want to be treated that way as well. Right? So that's why people won't take those actions. Right? Because they say, oh, that would hurt me, so therefore I don't really want to do that, right? Damn. So when it comes to it, why are modern women using the word empathetic over and over and over again? And why are they saying and telling people like this is their highest virtue? Well, first and foremost, this is one thing we have to understand about all modern women. And if you don't understand this, in the direction I'm going, I really highly recommend you pick up my last published book. A Patriarch's Vision, Purging Feminism. You can find it on Amazon, where I discuss this. The biggest difference and the biggest thing that you need to understand about modern women today, since the 80s, this really started in the 80s, it really picked up traction in the 90s, and was even pushed harder in the 2000s with No Child Left Behind, right? The second our school systems, elementary school became state-funded with a state-funded curriculum, we adopted a model of turning our youngest kids into activists. Now, this was a model that was seen since the 70s that's been perpetuated in our college and universities. Our colleges and universities are no longer about training people to become logical, free-thinking, critical thinking individuals that learn like a hard skill that translates directly over to the workforce, right? Instead, colleges and universities are indoctrination camps that are meant to turn people who have been indoctrinated previously due to entertainment and media in their education system in elementary school even deeper into ideologues and activists. You have to understand this. Now, go back, I'm sure, so I see this quite a bit. My statistics for YouTube is this. It's 100% men, and they're all ages 25 to 45. That's it. That's who I'm speaking to. So I know for a fact that you gentlemen had all gone through an elementary school to which you were indoctrinated into the matrix. Now, remember the last time I spoke and I brought up what the matrix was. The root word of matrix means the womb or mother. The matrix is simply the reigning body today, the reigning consciousness, where everyone is indoctrinated into a gynocentric world led by women, women's feelings, women's emotions, women in power, men lowering themselves down and their accomplishments down to make way for women. It's under the guise of equality as we understand. Their foot soldiers are the feminists and the Marxists, right? How this happened in elementary school coming up is you gentlemen were put through a school system by which it was under a feminine standard where you were locked into a orderly room where you had to sit still for hours on end and you had to behave and stop fidgeting. And if you were fidgeting, you were punished. And if you were punished, you were told you were a defective female, essentially, and you were put on drugs, right? From there, you were also indoctrinated with the subconscious worldview of understanding that aggression, fighting, going after your goals, being competitive, not focusing on yourself and trying to move yourself up the dominance hierarchy. Those were all negative and bad things because we lived in a quote unquote patriarchy. Even though they didn't say the word patriarchy then, that's what they were subliminally telling you. Furthermore, they were subliminally conditioning you by making you understand that you needed to tamp down your competitive skills and you had to start making way from women. The yes, girl, you go, girl, all women can become presidents and CEOs and astronauts and fucking matadors or whatever the fuck they want to become. You men need to get out of the way. Don't compete against women. You need to be nice. It's their turn, right? The biggest thing that I talk about too is this. I say this with men. The reason why the school system really indoctrinated you is that men don't learn the lessons and then get tested. They get tested and then they learn the lessons. That's why men must go on a hero's journey. This journey is what teaches you the lessons of life, of where you match up, where you meet up, right? Where you need to meet up to a certain standard. You have to go and be forged in the fire. From there, you're going to be tested and you're either going to win or you're going to fail. And the majority of the time, you're going to fail. Why? Because you're transforming into something new, into a new direction, into a new consciousness, into a new individual that you weren't before. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Failing is beautiful for men. And I hate using the term beautiful. I think it's a little bit too, feminine. But one of my biggest things that I do discuss in my new book is understanding beauty. Beauty, aesthetics, right? Truth is beauty. Aesthetics are beauty. Optimization is beauty to men, right? We are very beauty driven. So when I talk about failure being beauty, you have to understand what failure is for you. And this is the next thing that we got to understand about our school systems. Our early education systems do not allow you to fail. They don't allow you to fail. They don't allow you to fall flat on your face, because that's where men learn. Men learn the lesson from falling flat on their face. Women can't handle failure. It's too detrimental to their frail egos because they're already so insecure, right? So you have to understand what the matrix is before we start to talk about why empathy is being promoted and touted. So, because we live in this matrix now, or they're trying to really implement this matrix now, so that's the next point that I wanted you guys to understand. Now all these people are the foot soldiers of this new world order, so to speak, right? This Marxist revolution where they are saying, down with the patriarchy, down with the ways of tradition, down with the ways of old. All these children, all these kids from 1980s on up are now the foot soldiers for this modern era of progress, where they've been told to get rid of religion. The new religion is this religion of this Marxist indoctrination, where we're all spiritualists. We're all new age spiritualists. And everything is about compassion and leading from your heart center and connecting to all others and foregoing all of our differences and really being empathetic towards this and moving out of the way for other people and so on and so forth. So empathy has become the main virtue of this group. And modern women are the biggest arbiters and salespeople of this because, as we see, we understand, and this is the biggest thing we have to understand about modern women today, is they are not happy. They aren't happy because women would really, truly be happy being with one man, right? A high-value man, having his children, taking care of the home, teaching the children at home while they're young, taking care of them like a nurse would. We got to understand this. What are the two main fields that women go into today? They go into teaching and they go into nursing. Why is this? Well, most would sit there and they'd say, because women are empathetic and they want to take care of people. No. I argue this. I say women have a biological drive to want to teach and care for their own children. But this new postmodernist Marxist revolution has taught them that they're selfish. They are not empathetic, right? This is where the guilt comes in. They are not empathetic. They are instead selfish if they invest their maternal, matriarchal values only on their children. You should not. You're an activist. Remember, you're here to change the world. Activist. World changer. Why would you selfishly waste those maternal skills on your own children, especially if they're white children? You white woman, you're the cause of the demise of these indigenous, Mexican, Black children because of your slavery. You must instead take your activism to the streets, to the corporations, to the education system. And you need to become a mother to them through the healthcare system, through the education system. Go on, get your master's and your PhD. Become a mother to these people by teaching them more and more activism at the universities. Forgo your selfish desire to want to have children of your own or a white husband of your own. Forgo your desire to want to populate this earth due to climate change, you nasty person, creating more waste, more greenhouse gases. You need to be empathetic to all these social causes instead of having children and taking care of children, taking care of your husband, taking care of your nuclear family. That's where women's empathy lies today. And the last bit I want to discuss when it comes to empathy is this, because I kind of mentioned it right then and there. Where are women's empathy when it comes to men? We are seeing this, and listen, do not get me wrong. I am not about to get on my soapbox to preach about men's rights movements or any of that shit. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about this system. Instead, what I want to see is this system fall apart and crumble so that we can get back to the truth. Truth, wisdom, justice of what and how a true society should be. But where's women's empathy when it comes to men being 5 times more likely to commit suicide and actually following through with it? Where are women's empathy towards men who die at a 95% rate out in the workforce compared to women's 5%? Where's women's empathy when it comes to men dying on the front lines of battle? Right? Where's women's empathy for men who work 50, 60 hours a week as a blue-collar worker, keeping the lights running, keeping the water running, unclogging the fucking toilets and the plumbing system and the sewage system, right? Where's women's empathy towards these men? Instead, what we see is 80% of women going after the top 20% of men in today's dating market. Instead, what we're continuing to see is those same women saying that all men are bastards, when it's 80% of women who are chasing after 20% of men, leaving the rest of the 80% of men sexless, marriageless, relationshipless, right? But all lumped into the same category. Where's women's empathy, like what I discussed the other day with Gabby Petito, where women are 48% of the domestic abusers in relationships, yet we don't see any of that reflected in our judicial system or in our prison sentences. Where's women's empathy with men who get raped more than women here in America due to prison? Where's women's empathy for men when it comes to men being 5 times or 7 times more likely to face a sentence for the same charge compared to women? Where's women's empathy for men when it comes to alimony and child support and having, custody of the children? Where's women's empathy for any of that, right? So you got to go back to understanding what I discussed when it comes to empathy, because these all come from women's actions. These were all part of women voting. These were all part of women's suffrage, right? Right? Am I right? They didn't have empathy when they went to the fucking voting booth and decided to put forth these social programs. They didn't have empathy for men when it came to pushing forward any of this stuff that removed more tax dollars and made me more likely to be arrested, made me pay more money to my wife or ex-wife or so on and so forth, right? There was no empathy in any of this stuff. But yet today, in today's world, the modern woman is telling men to be more empathetic towards their causes. Over and over, saying, give me more, give me more, give me more. To the point right now, look at our border. To the point right now that we had 100,000 Afghan refugees just come into our country. All these Somali refugees come into this country. All these Mexican immigrants coming illegally into our country because of women's empathy. But yet here I am, a veteran who fought in these wars, receiving almost nothing in return, but being told to pay more taxes. Pay more taxes to these social programs. Be more empathetic to these people. There's no such thing as an illegal human being. You're asking me to be more empathetic while you sit here and destroy the very country that I swore to defend and protect. And I'm not even trying to get on that high horse either about, oh, I served my country, you should fucking owe me. I don't give a fuck about that, to be honest with you. But the elephant in the room is this. Everything that we were told to be empathetic about up to this point from women has led to the demise of this country and our culture. It's led to the demise of women, so much so that we have to differentiate women from modern women because of this new beast that we're handling today and having to deal with. Women are unrecognizable from 40 years ago. Unrecognizable. Our marriage rates in the white community are what, 50%, or our divorce rates or something like that? I think, sorry, it's marriage rates is at 50%, and I think our divorce rate is at 52% now. Our, what's it called? Our birth to death ratio is finally at a point where, what is it? I think I'm talking about fertility rates at this point in time and stuff like that. It's all declining. Everything's going downhill. All because we tried to adopt this new aged progressive bullshit. All with the simple argument from women of you need to have more empathy. But the fact of the matter is this. Women have zero empathy. As a matter of fact, what they have is, yeah, there we go. Our birth rate is sub-replacement rate. The fact of the matter is this. Women have been guilted into believing that empathy is something different than it is, and the reality is it's toxic sympathy. Women do not understand long-term effects. They understand only their feelings in the now. So when they're met with that fucking Sarah McLachlan fucking commercial about the dogs and shit like that, what are they going to talk about in that moment? Oh my God, we need to do something. We need to go out and we need to adopt more dogs. We need to do this. All those poor pit bulls, all this other stuff, right? Don't get me wrong. I love pit bulls. But that's what they're going to say. They're going to say the morality in this moment should be us adopting more dogs. Don't go out and breed dogs. That's evil. That's evil, breeding dogs with proper genetics and all this other stuff. Let's go get a fucking mutt that's been abused and treated poorly and all this other shit that's malnourished with mange and shit. Let's go get that because of the fucking stupid commercial that just made me feel bad about something. Without even thinking about the long-term effects of what I just discussed. How the fuck are you going to feed it? What about all the fucking vet bills? What if it's aggressive? What if it's retarded and has parvo or some shit? You know what I mean? But in that moment, the moral thing to do is be empathetic. The reality is it's just sympathy, and it's toxic sympathy, because what's been going on is women have been inundated via all these ideological subversive bullshits being marketed to them to make them feel things over and over and over and over so that they can continue to virtue signal more. And then you bring in the advent of social media, and you have all these women that are just promoting themselves as this type of individual while they're living just the most destructive and chaotic lives possible. Anyway, I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let me scroll through the, what's it called first? Actually, I'll do that. I'm going to post up the link for the Zoom call in the chat if you guys want to come in and call in. Go ahead and click that link. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to go through the comments and pick out any questions, and then or really good comments, and then I'll get over to you guys in Zoom. Hey, stupid. What are you doing, computer? Why are you being so stupid? Oh, there we go. That's what I got to do. Looking classy, Lysander, rock and roll. That's what I'm talking about. I got my fine three-piece suit on today. I wish I could show off more of the three-piece, but, you know, doesn't show right now. Yo, there's a French cologne that starts with a G. Smells like tobacco, vanilla, and some other stuff. Smells like a French bakery. So good. Try and find it. My uncle used to wear it. Got to be more specific. I appreciate it, though. Yo, not getting any matches right now. Not even fat chicks swiping on me right now. You might have to revamp. You might have to close down the app, like completely delete it and restart over. Also, I got to admit this. I got rid of all my dating apps back at the beginning of this year because I've been focused more so on I hate to say I got tired. I never get tired of the game. I still cold approach. And I don't want to say that dating that online dating gave me a bad taste or that it was too easy. What I do want to say is that I wanted to put my focus and my energy into, I was really trying to figure out where to go. I had 2 published books at the time. I had this YouTube channel. The War Tribe was still kicking at that time. And I was like, what do I need to do? I need to figure this out. And having women in the background was just too much for me. So close that down. So I don't know. I'm hearing the same thing, though. I think that dating apps are kind of dead right now. I think COVID put a stop to most of that. Putting yourself, see, yeah, exactly what I'm talking about. They use words that they know the meaning or will carry the word meaning. I got you. I see what you're saying. Yo, the fragrance I mentioned is called Guerlain Nice. Specifically, the Gourmand Coquin. Sadly, they discontinued it about a year ago. Yeah, you could probably still find it. Guerlain. I'm going to write that down. I love me some gourmands, but I like spicy gourmands. That's kind of the direction. So I don't want something that is too sweet, like a Cinnabon, right? I want something that's got some spiciness to it, maybe a little woodiness to it as well. All right. I was smart in school, but because I didn't want to learn how they were teaching, I was discarded. Exactly. It takes a village. That's bullshit. Exactly. It's communism. Now, at some level, I do believe that community should help to mentor and guide, but I don't think it should be solely the village's responsibility where it's like no one's the parent or no one's whatever, right? There's no distinction and there's no individuals. That's retarded. I got suspended for months and they would fail me for attendance even though I aced all their tests. They hated me. That's how most men do it. Gookfish is so fire. Are you familiar with the term methroid or dating roach? No, unfamiliar with that. Answer is you're male. You're inferior. Exactly. Do we have anybody in the Zoom call yet? Are you guys going to go in there or not? Participants. It's just me. All right. No one wants to call in. Unless that link didn't work. Matched with a chick earlier today. We getting drinks and playing cards tonight. That's a good thing to do. I like that. Nice and fun. Yeah, you're up in Canada, which is about to turn into Australia in a few months. So I've had great success with apps over the past month. Good. I'm hearing mixed reviews. Some people are getting stalled on. A lot of women are flaking. It's not as good as it used to be. I think here in San Diego, you're in a good spot too, though, to be honest with you. You got a lot of women around, a lot of good-looking women too. So I remember when I was out in your neck of the woods, it was pretty killer. So it definitely depends on where you're at. Wish luck. You don't need luck. You just need game. I'll hop in. Link's invalid. No way. All right. Let's see what we can do then. Participants. Invite. Copy link invite. Invite has been copied to clipboard. Control V. Let's see how that works. Let me know if that works. I'm pretty sure it's the same one, but. Oh, nope, there we go. Oh, and then there's a passcode. That's right. Which is S. What's up, Brian? How you doing? That says that's a meeting code. If you guys need a meeting code, you guys can see that. Let's, nope, not block me as a user. And hang on one second. Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, brother?
Hey. This is what I'm gonna do real quick. I'm gonna share you on the screen, and I think that I gotta listen to the chat too at the same time. Share screen. Chrome tab. Post.
Yeah, I don't got any video camera or anything.
Don't worry about video. Don't worry about video. All right, guys, that's not going to work because of that. Stop share screen. I'm going to share window. There we go. This should be the way that it works. Hey, guys, let me know. Go ahead, Kosti, and talk real quick.
Hey, test. How's it going?
Test.
Hey.
Are you guys hearing him? I got to wait for the delay. Anyway, fuck it. Who cares? We'll just chat. Just got a super chat as well. Some serious, tremendous, and good insight you have given tonight, sir. Bravo and thank you. Hey, my salute to you as well. Thank you for the donation. Zoom link not working. Homeboy got in here. So I don't know how he got in here, but you didn't. How'd you get in here, by the way? You just clicked the link?
I just clicked the second one you did, yeah, and it put it up.
Yeah, second link. Click the second link. He's good to go. You guys can hear him fine. I can hear him fine. You can hear me fine. Let's fucking go. What's up? What you got?
Not much, brother.
It's good to finally chat with you, by the way.
Yeah, I think with you, brother.
Dude.
Shit, dude. It's been great to watch and see your insight and learn a little bit more about you.
He and I are good friends on Twitter, and we go back and forth on a lot of stuff. And I guess you've been following me on here for some time as well. Did you find me on here first, and then we became friends on Twitter?
No, I found you on Twitter first, and then I found your YouTube and just started listening to your lives and watching some of your past podcasts, and really pretty much agree with a lot of what you say. And I haven't really been too much into like the whole manosphere type stuff, but it's kind of like that is kind of like my beliefs in myself, how I act and go about things.
Yeah, you know what's weird too, man? I'll tell you this. So, all right, so I belong to quote unquote manosphere first, and then I've tried to kind of like separate from that. But what I found is like the right wing bodybuilder / money Twitter crew on Twitter is exactly the same way, minus all the stupid bullshit that you get in the manosphere.
Right.
Because the only thing most manosphere dudes do is they sit there and they just talk about like game and like social dynamics between men and women, right? So I talk about that stuff, but that's not all I fucking care about. So what ended up happening was at the beginning of last year, I belonged to this group of guys that were like big key guys in the manosphere. And I was like, this is all you guys fucking talk about is game, but there's something bigger brewing right now in this country, right? Like this pandemic's hitting, the money supply, the supply chain is going to take a fucking dump. Like men need to go out there and they need to start getting fucking prepared for like real shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, girls will flock to that because they'll see you as a value guy.
Thank you.
Just always running around chasing puss when you can be chasing puss all day, but your house is not protected. You don't got no guns. You ain't got no physique. You can't defend yourself. You can't feed anybody. Like, what the point is girls if you can't even do that? You
have no real resources. You have no fucking gun training, and you have no fight training whatsoever, right?
100%.
So it's like you're gonna like, let's say shit hits the fan right now. You're gonna be a mark because all you fucking did was sit there and you spent all your money on getting a new fucking car, buying a new watch, buying designer fucking clothes. Right? You should have been buying fucking what I told these guys in the beginning too was like, yo, bullets, guns, Bitcoin, and bullion, right? I was like, get that shit now, like, and get reserve food and water. And no one wanted to hear that.
That's so true. It's like when I was dating this one chick right when the pandemic hit, I was 19, so she didn't really understand it, but it was right before the lockdown happened. It was like 12 o'clock at night. Not like the day before, but it was like a week before it went down. I was like, it's 12 o'clock at night. There's a 24-hour supermarket. We're going to hit it. Let's go hit it because there'll be nobody there. No waiting in line. Get in, get out. And she's probably wondering, like, what the fuck is she buying all this fucking food for? You know what I mean? In my mind, I didn't give a shit what she thought because if it really did happen, she fucking understands.
Right.
I mean? And then down the line,
but,
if it does happen.
And this goes down to exactly what I'm talking about today. Women are so nearsighted and only focused in, like, people's perception of them right now. what was going on in her brain was like, oh my God, what are people going to think about us doing stuff like this? This is so weird. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why are you doing that? And you're sitting here thinking like, yo, I'm going into fucking defense mode. I'm going into defense mode where it's like, I got to protect my resources. I have to get resources to make sure I survive this shit. Like, I'm going to have to fucking attack. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going into full blown fucking warrior mode while she's over here like, what the fuck? Like, oh my God, like people on my Snapchat are going to think we're total losers. Yeah. Right. It's like, it's like,
yeah, she's like, why are you bringing me to an Army Navy surplus store? It's like,
hell yeah. This is our date. We're going to the fucking Army Navy. Date night is going to be. Yeah, exactly. Date night is now paintball or airsoft. We got to get you fucking prepped, bitch. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Most guys don't understand that, and that's kind of the direction I was going. Is like, I call it warlord mode, right? Like, why are you worried about bitches right now? Like, focus on this shit, because if it comes down to it, man, you need to become a fucking warlord. And if you become a warlord, like if I became a warlord, like I'd be like Kim Jong-un. I'd be like fucking Fidel Castro. You know, this dude, Fidel Castro, slept with like over 35,000 women. He would have a new girl sent to him breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. Like that's the tier you want to fucking be on. You think any of these fucking idiots in the manosphere are ever going to be remembered as like, you know, one guy says, make a dent in the universe. Like, bitch, what's your fucking dent in the universe really gonna be? Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like, you drove a fucking R8 around and you made maybe $1 million or $2. Like, no. You know who makes a fucking dent in the universe? Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan, Hitler, right? Che Guevara, who I got tattooed on my arm. Like, those are people, and even like arguably Che Guevara is probably not going to be on the same tier as Hitler, Genghis Khan, and fucking Alexander the Great, right? But like, people are thinking fucking checkers, man. Did you go out and grab anything new as far as pew-pews are concerned?
Oh, since then, yeah. Built a pretty solid AR. Got some more mags. Built a pretty nice chest rig since then. You know, haven't been able to train as much as there's not as much training around.
It's hard to train right now. I don't know if you caught my stream on shooting a couple weeks back.
No, I didn't know.
All right. So this sounds really stupid, but one of the best pieces of advice that I gave guys right now to train on the cheap, because training is everything. The Zoom link is working. You have to get the, what's it called though? You have to click on the second one. Hang on. Maybe it timed out and I have to I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, I'm going to get back to you, but excuse me. Oh, there we go. I just got to admit you. That's all. I didn't see it. So how to do it on the cheap. I gave you a recommendation for a pistol a little while ago, even though I know it's one that you can't get. But one pistol, most of us in here, most of us part of the War Tribe, which is my men's group that I run, most of us are Glock fanboys, especially as your first pistol to get.
Yeah, that's my next one I'm going to get. I just turned 21, so I'm able to get one.
I would highly recommend you start off with a 17. That's me. And because I know you live in California, you're not, actually, you know what? You're up in Slow, right?
Yes, sir.
How's your concealed carry permitting up there?
Actually,
does it go through Riverside?
Not Slow specifically. That's kind of a good, broad term. I'm like a couple towns down south. I'm actually in Santa Barbara County. Oh, Santa Barbara County.
Well, you're not part of Inland Empire then, huh?
No.
Shit.
So in terms of getting a concealed carry, it's pretty freaking.
It's gonna be tough. All right.
Real tough.
Yeah. So
if you got balls, you can carry anywhere.
For sure. So I would recommend for your first pistol, because pistols are really hard to shoot, by the way, because you don't have the shoulder support and they're shorter barrel and line of sight and all this stuff. So I recommend a full framed pistol. I recommend you getting a Glock 17. Now, the cool thing about getting a Glock 17 as well is that you can go online and you could purchase an airsoft BB gun Glock 17 that is exact replica and same shooting mechanisms. And you could practice in your house or whatever, get like a little BB trap or the like what they do for like shooting quals and stuff like this. And you could practice your draws with a BB gun. And it's the same mechanics, right? Because what's it called? Trigger control, breath control, line of sight, right? All this stuff, right? It's all the same shit. And then I would do the same thing as well. I would do the same thing as well for an AR. So get an AR airsoft BB gun and practice the same shit.
Okay.
So I talk about it in my shooting thing. There's a difference between marksmanship and becoming a shooter, right? Becoming a shooter is manipulating your weapon in different situations and scenarios to be able to get on target and practice your drills. Does it make sense? Marksmanship is just merely, and that's all you're really going to do at a range with your firearms, is you're just only going to be practicing marksmanship of, I'm in a safe, contained space. I have all the time in the world to point, shoot, pull, or squeeze, bang, right? And hit the target in the spot that I want it to. Whereas becoming a shooter and shooting is moving dynamics, taking a knee, magazine changes, failure to stop drills, which is 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, right? Weapons malfunctions training, all that other stuff. That stuff you need to be training on top of becoming a marksman. Now, when you're a shooter, I like to say this. I say when you're a shooter, 80% accuracy is good. Of course, you want to be dead nuts as often as possible. But if you can get rounds on target in the location that you want 80% of the time when you're shooting, right, under duress and going through this stuff, that's a really good percentage. Does it make sense?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Perfect. I got a bunch of other callers on here too, so let me move on. Just mute yourself and we'll come back if you want to just shoot the shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent. All right. Go ahead, 9.
Hey, brother, what's good?
What's happening?
Not too much. I don't really have anything specific to talk about. I just figured I'd join you while you're streaming and keep everything moving.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I saw your little shoddy back there. Would you have a little pump?
Anytime. I'm Canada, bro. So you already know I'm technically a felon, so I can't own anything.
You got a BB gun there.
Nice.
Pellet gun.
This is my pellet gun.
Yep, pellet gun.
This is a real nice pellet gun.
Yep.
And this is my airsoft gun.
Nice. Yeah, see, it's
Full replica.
all replica.
Disassemble.
Yep.
The slide, the magazine, the barrel, the whole everything.
People are so used to believing that the BB guns are like the BB guns of the old, where they're not exact replicas of the weapons that they're actually manipulating today. What he's showing you right there, everything.
Everything on this gun is the exact same as a 3rd generation 9mm Beretta.
Exactly. That's perfect. And the thing is, you could sit there in your household right now and put a little target up across the room at 7-10 feet away, get a few rounds in, practice your breath control, practice your trigger control, getting sights on, understanding how the sights work, how you jive with that frame, and it's just as good. And you don't have to spend the money that you would be spending on with where our ammunition prices are today, nor do you have to worry about going to anyway, all that good stuff.
Me and my buddies, we used to do sweep and clear drills in our houses. We would just get bored and be like, what do you want to do? Be like, I don't know, go hide in the house, we'll sweep and clear. You fucking hide.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, man. Hey, thanks for calling in. I'll come back to you too. Let me move on to some other guys.
You're on mute, don't worry. Yeah, go talk to everybody.
All right, dude.
Blessings.
See yous. All right, Titan Alpha. Why is that not working? I'm asking you to unmute, but it's not working. There we go. There we go. Can you hear me? I asked him to unmute. Do. Nothing. Huh. All right, Moses. There we go.
Hey, can you hear me good, Lysander?
I can hear you. How you doing?
It's going great, man.
Uh-oh. We got an overlap. For some reason.
Oh, shit.
All right. Titan Alpha. Are you speaking right now?
Fucking trying to.
All right. So I'm going to mute Moses real quick. Moses, I'll come to you next. All right. Go ahead, buddy. What's up? Hello. Hello, hello. Never mind. All right, Moses, we're going to go back to you. Titan, I don't know what's up with yours.
Okay, awesome. That's funny. Can you hear me good?
I got you loud and clear. How you doing?
Awesome. It's great to speak with you for the first time. Man, I'm so glad that you're back streaming and
Thank you.
videos. It's like you took your break, and I really appreciated your videos. So good to finally make an acquaintance. And the question I had for you isn't too much on the subject that you're speaking today.
No worries. We're good. We're chatting. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. But my question is, so when you text girls on Snapchat or wherever you're texting them, right?
Mhm.
It's like in person. I feel like I can give a good impression, right? I can, not that I'm too good at game, but I can manage.
Sure.
So like when you reached out, how do you like? Is there a certain vibe that you carry in the text, or like how do you pop off in comparison to because these girls are getting messaged by 20, 30 different
Perfect.
guys.
So one thing I want to change for you is this: never do Snapchat. Because what you're doing essentially is, for most of these girls are going to ask you to go to their Snapchat because they want to get their Snapchat numbers up. They want people viewing their stories and all this other stuff to get whatever. So she's automatically putting you into a category of orbiter.
Man.
You understand that?
Yeah.
So this is why go ahead.
I just feel like asking for the phone number. Sometimes, I also don't like to give it for privacy reasons, because then they'll phone number and call you forever.
Yep. Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the beauty of someone's phone number and Snapchat as well. Technology is so beautiful today that you can just simply block people, right? Even if I have your phone number or you're annoying me on Snapchat, I can sit there and I could scroll down and say block number, right? So that's something that you use to your benefit as well when going for the number. So what's kind of cool about this, I guess I'll break the seal on this. So last week I created a new product, created a new program that's really going to help a lot of guys. I've sold it to a few people behind the scenes that are part of my group and network and stuff like that are having issues with girls. Same thing that you're having, right? Guys are having issues with text game. They're having issues with their profiles. They're having issues with cold approaching women. The thing that I produced, it's called Sex and Sales. So what I was able to learn was this: game is equivalent to sales. It's the same exact thing. And the beauty of the product that I just created is this. The other thing that I've come to realize is that men like two things. We really enjoy money and we really enjoy women. The best way to make more money is to learn how to sell. The best way to get better with women is to learn how to sell. Whether or not you're going to sell yourself to get a better job to make more money, whether or not you produce a product where you need to sell, or whether or not you need to get a job right now to become a sales representative, let's face it, sales reps are the highest. If you're a good sales rep, you're one of the highest earners in America. It's one of the best professions to go from broke to somebody real fast, but you got to learn how to sell. So I teach you how to sell in this course. The next thing is I mirror it. I mirror this product where I show you exactly how I use my sales process that I do to be a good salesman with women. So what you're automatically doing right now is this. You're putting yourself in the position of the woman, which is really good, You're saying, I know I'm going to reach an obstacle when I go for the number because it's really personal, right?
Yep.
But that's what you want. The reason why you want the number is because you're a better man than all the rest, and you want a more personal connection with her than any of the other guys that are on that dating app or in her Snapchat. That's why you do not settle for being placed into her orbiter zone. You are the guy she wants to be with. You are the guy that she wants to be in her personal space. You want to be elevated into that position. And how do you do it? You do it through your sales technique and promoting your actual disposition of your value. So when it comes to it, excuse me?
By asking for the phone number.
Absolutely. Because most guys are going to be intimidated, kind of like where you're at. Oh, she's going to give me an objection. It's really personable. I don't know. I know I'm going to face this rejection. She's probably more than likely going to give me her Snapchat. But then you fall into the beta orbiter line, right? And what are most dudes doing on Snapchat too? Instead of hoping to actually get booty to move. So the reason why I get a girl's contact information is not to become friends with her. I get that information so that I can go on the date. That's my next goal. And what's the purpose of my date? Why am I trying to get her on a date?
Yep, it's just smash.
Yes, right? I mean, let's be fucking honest.
Absolutely, and I like that's a very insightful way to put it, because no, you definitely hit the nail on that one.
Right.
I'm gonna start doing that because I agree with you. It's more personal for a reason.
So let's talk about this real quick, because your original question was, how do I
approach, like, for me it's like, I don't want to just say hey, and then sometimes I get creative, but then that's like a little bit needy, right? But I want to pop off, right, and be able to, like, in Tinder, right, especially when you don't know them. It's like, what angle do you take to kind of show that value? Because, like, yeah, you can put the pictures and everything, but especially when going after older women, right, it's like I can keep my frame. I mainly like to date older women, but it's kind of hard in the beginning, because they think that you're just going to be a schmuck, needy and stuff, and it's like, I just need to get her on the phone call to, show her what I'm about. Like,
sure.
Texting is where I'm weak at, especially like the first couple of, like, hey, you start asking questions like, so what do you like to do and stuff, and then you kind of fall into the same, like, it's just another text message.
I have all the answers to this. If you have time to read a 25,000 word ebook that'll take you an hour or some change, it's all written down. I have all the answers to this. I have the way to set up your, what's it called? You got a pen and paper right now?
Yeah, let me get one. I was also going to ask you them, because like, once you started training, I'm like, I want to join the men's tribe. Well, I didn't see the link from them.
No, I closed. So I closed down the men's page, the men's group page, and I closed it off to only a certain group of men that have proved themselves to be congruent with their word and congruent to where men should be. Because what I started to notice before was it was slow to grow, and the people that we were getting to come in there were starting to think, because they paid me money, that they were somehow entitled to slacking off and not being conducive to the mindset. Does it make sense? So I said, all right, let's close this fucking down. Let's make a core group of individuals. Let's build this up a little bit more. And then from there, we'll move into something different later on, but make the war tribe itself the inner circle. All right. So email me right now, Lysander X Caligo. I'm going to put it in the chat, actually, so you know the spelling, at gmail.com. And then I'll be able to, I'll give you the skinny through email. How's that sound?
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate that, because I've done a lot of, self-development. I'm actually got a good job here up in the oil field, and I'm looking to put in my trucks hopefully in the future, because it seems like oil prices are going to get higher.
Oh, for sure.
I can go into the boom, and obviously it's a lot of responsibility and stuff, but like, I already know where I'm headed, and I'm not fucking around. Like, dude, my grandpa was a polygamist. He had 4 wives and had plenty of children, right?
It's in your blood.
I
I said it's in your fucking blood. Yeah, absolutely.
If my grandpa did it, right, why can't I achieve something similar? You know, I think I honestly don't, like, if we're going to be accepting transgenders and homosexuals, you're going to tell me that polygamy is wrong too?
I agree.
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
agree with you.
You're like,
Yeah, that argument is moot. If you're going to accept everybody else's sexuality, then you should be able to accept my sexuality as well, on top of my marriage choices.
Yep.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah, shoot me an email, and we'll chat. We'll chat about getting you into the War Tribe as well, and then we'll chat about this new product that I have. It's so funny that you mentioned that, because this is like exactly what you're asking for. And I hate to sit there and say that, but it's just so funny that it line. I'm telling you, when you read this, you're going to be like, holy fuck, his approach is exactly what I was looking for.
yeah, dude, I don't have any problem, like, compared to a lot of the other guys in the manosphere, right?
Right.
It's a lot like, have you read the book, The Alabaster Girl?
Never. No.
That's a good book. You know, it does talk about like flow and vibes, right? And being honest with women, which, you know, I do think you should
I agree.
be somewhat honest.
Yep.
But like, it doesn't get too much into like the alpha mindset. Like AMS does a great job in explaining it, and I've copied him. And dude, you know, like I freaking not that I have like a harem of girls, but like, compared to where I was at, right? I got 2 girls obsessed with me, and like now for me to get the quality of women that I want, right? Coming from a single mother household, I don't have the dynamics set up on like a marriage and stuff. So like really, I need to just date.
Perfect.
I need to date, get to learn women really good. Because like, you know, if I get four wives, like I want them to be high quality, not sluts, you know, I want them to understand my reasoning behind, you know, wanting that.
Well, here's the thing is, you're never going to get a woman to understand your reasoning necessarily. What you're going to get a woman to understand is your boundaries. So what you need to develop first is you need to develop your non-negotiables, and you need to understand your boundaries, and you need to learn to understand that those are what you protect. Does it make sense? And you got to defend them. You got to defend them with everything you got. So
yeah, because I'm legacy building here. Like
absolutely,
I'm just having a big family for no reason.
Yeah, perfect. So
my children are my fruits, and I want them to be high quality as fuck. For you know, just like it's just
and you want to give them the tools that you weren't given.
Oh yeah, like I'll take care of them and stuff. Like my grandpa did this. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as crazy as some people think. You just have to make a lot of money, be able to maintain them. And you know, like you said, set your boundaries and stuff. Yeah, I'll send you an email. That's great to hear that you know you're gonna pop that off, because I'm definitely interested in seeing that. I already have your book, and even though I don't agree with the religion thing, which it's fine.
Absolutely.
I know religion is a massive
topic
to deal with.
For sure.
You're a lot of like 99% of the other stuff right on point. So. Yeah, I'll let somebody else talk, but thank you so much. And,
well, there's one point that I wanted to mention too, is in exactly what you just said was 100% perfect. We men are never going to agree on 100% of everything. As long as if we are on board with 98% of what a guy says, why not have him be a brother? You know what I'm saying? Why are we warring over the 2% differences that we have between one another? That's stupid.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Perfect. And thank you for reading the book. Let me ask you one question, because I don't get a lot of people that comment on it, because a lot of people don't read. What was your biggest takeaway from that book, from Purging Feminism?
I'm like halfway through, right? But one of the things that makes a lot of sense to me is the civilization building, because a lot of people don't. They mainly approach things on a very little scale, like, oh, just relationships. I just want to get married and that's it. But when you start thinking, what you do in your book, when you start thinking, you know, from the family to the community to the nation, right?
Mhm.
It's like, what exactly are we trying to do here? Are we just trying to, have a bunch of consumer boomers that, are just feeding the beast of the system that we have right now? Or, I think life is good, so I want to create more life for like the good kind of life, right? Where we not necessarily have to worry about like, sorry, I'm not trying to rant too much.
You're fine.
I'm trying to create people that have good values, right? Join other communities, right? That have good values, right?
Mhm.
Where people can lead fulfilling and happy lives, right? Which I don't think it's found in, all this fame and whatever. I could talk hours on it, but just like how lost people are nowadays,
Mhm.
right? Where gender and race and this and that, like it's just ridiculous, right? I want to have, I think, going back to your book, right? I think it's so important to actually view those kinds of points of view. So, like to me, that was the thing that spoke to me the most. It's like, hey, man, like what are we actually trying to do? And it's as men, right? It's civilization building. Like we gotta get control again, right? Start speaking truth, not all these illusions, so we can actually build a better society, and not auto-destroy ourselves like the way we're going right now,
Absolutely.
I don't think these people will ever change, really. I think humans are kind of like trees that once they grow kind of crooked, man, hopefully you don't have to cut them off, but, I'm building my own thing right here. I come from communities, like polygamous communities like that, right? And it's just a lot better of a life and happier life and more purpose-driven life, not just TikTok and fame and let me do LSD and crap,
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
Perfect. Well, I'll tell you guys what, I just got a warning because I forgot I'm not paying Zoom anymore. And they have a time limit on Zoom calls until I can start paying for the service again. So actually, I have to get rid of the call in at this point in time, which means I'm also just going to get going anyway. So Moses, I'm going to mute you anyway. I'm going to say my salutations to everybody else. Oh, sorry, I muted you too fast. Quick on the guns. All right, I'm closing out the Zoom real quick. Assign. Oh, wait, never mind. I didn't assign anybody. My bad. Whatever. Just get out of there. All right, gentlemen. It's weird seeing my face all up on there like this. I was used to looking at the little guy. Gents, I felt like that was a phenomenal show. Good topic. Thanks for calling in. We are going to do the call-in segment again. I'll probably rant and rave and go through stuff like that. Same format as today. I'm thinking maybe Thursday like I did last week. By that point in time, I have another topic I want to discuss, and I'm doing a bunch of different shit, and then I have Monday again. So 2 times a week is pretty good. If you're interested in my new manuscript, I'm actually going to be selling it on Gumroad. But since you guys are part of my crew, I will offer you a discounted price as well. So go ahead and email me at lysanderxcaligo@gmail.com. And if you match and want to be part of the War Tribe, which is still going, it's just a Signal group right now, please feel free to email me. But first, before you do get accepted to the group, Philip Franklin said it here, fair warning. If you're invited in the War Tribe, you better be good with receiving feedback when you ask for advice. Absolutely. The second thing is, in order for me to make sure you are real and all that other stuff, you got to call into the show first. So if that's something you're interested in, call into the show next time, have a discussion with me on air, and we'll talk about it in the future. With that said, guys, until Thursday at 5 p.m., I'll see you next time. But before we do so, let's make sure we hit the like. Let's share this if you got some value out of it. And please do send some shekels my way so I could publish my next book. PayPal link is in the description. Join me on Twitter for my Sunday show where I talk about fragrances, men's style. We'll even talk about the sex and sales aspect of things where we discuss women and talking to women as well. Until Thursday, though, here on YouTube's, I'll see you at 5 p.m. Adios.